Hey, Professor Barry, head realtor in residence at Ylopo, team owner of a team in Virginia Beach, and I just got off the phone with one of my agents who is having fantastic engagement from Seller Alert 2.0. And because of that engagement, she had a question. What do I do with the engagement? So I explained it to her, and I wanted to share it here with the community as well because I thought it might help you guys to convert some more deals. First of all, engagement equals money. Big business owners know that. The fact that they're engaging your content is a massive win for your business. But if all you're doing is seeing alerts and you're not leveraging that engagement to connect with the client on a one-to-one basis and talk with them, you are leaving money on the table. So there's like four main buckets of engagement. There's like the fact that they're looking at it, then there's clicking on it, then there's tweaking it, like updating the equity, right? And then there's, can you help me? Like, can you bring the buyers by on the buyer heat map? There's, can you call me? Can you text me? Can you update me on why the equity is what it is? So again, they're looking at it, they're clicking on it, they're manipulating the data, and then they're asking you for help. Those are like the four main buckets. In all of them, you want to use a subtle and indirect opener because most people aren't in a hurry to sell and you'll scare them off, which is why most of you are scared to make these phone calls. So what I want you to do when you're calling these new leads, or excuse me, this new engagement, the first thing I want you to do is reference the fact that you sent the report and then have a relevant question. So it sounds something like this. Hey, this is Barry, Better Homes and Gardens. I've been sending you out an equity report on your home and I noticed you got it. Or I know that I just sent it to you and I wanted to make sure that it loaded okay for you, right? Something very vague for that first category. Just to make sure, did you get it? Did it load okay for you? Just an easy question. You know they got it because they opened it, but you just want to talk to them and make sure they know that you're the agent that just sent it to them, right? Now, in the next category where they're clicking on it, or if they're opening it, it's kind of the same opener. Hey, this is Barry, Better Homes and Gardens. I've been sending you that equity report. There's a couple of things I wanted to make sure were correct about the home. It's going to impact the home value. Do you have 5 minutes for me to make sure the report's correct? Again, this is somebody that's clicking on the data or manipulating the data. They're going to be more in tune with wanting to make sure the data is accurate because that's kind of where their head was at already. Right? From there, if they are changing the details about the home or changing the equity, you're going to use that same approach. Hey, this is Barry, Better Homes and Gardens. Wanted to talk to you about the equity report that I've been sending. There's a couple of things that might not be correct in the report, and I wanted to touch base with you and see if I can update them because it will update the home value. Do you have a second, right? And for those of you that are wondering, what are the couple of things? You've got like 10 things, all the home facts, right? The equity amount, the loan balance, bedroom, bathroom count, all that stuff. Just go through the particulars and make sure it's updated. From there, they're actually asking for help. Can you bring buyers by? You said you have 20 buyers for my home in this report. Can you bring them over? They click that button. That's an easy one. Wanted to talk to you about that process, right? And that could be a whole nother video, but more or less, before I bring my people by, I need to stop by the home. That's how you handle that, just so you guys know. Before I bring anybody to your house, I need to do a walkthrough. When can I come over? If they ask you to call or text, again, call or text. Hey, you asked me to call you. You asked me to text you. How can I help you, right? Because that's a higher urgency. After you use this low-key opener, what I want you to do is I want you to transition to discussing more about the process and big picture stuff because you're going to calm them down. The way that I want to kick this off is I want to discover their emotions and what's motivating them or not motivating them to move right now. The way that I like to do that is a very easy question. I just ask something along the lines of, hey, I know you're not ready to move anytime soon, but I'm curious. If the price was right, would you be open to receiving an offer in the next 6 to 12 months? If the price was right, would you be open to receiving an offer in the next 6 to 12 months? Now, if they say no, they would not be open to receiving an offer, even if the price was right, that is not a seller. Okay, you can just tap them on their head, keep sending the report, and move on. Because you didn't say, do you want to move? Do you want to sell? When can I come over? All you said was, can someone write on a piece of paper that they want to buy your house for a lot of money? And if they say no to that, they're not motivated, okay? If they say yes, just move on. Okay, cool, that's great, good to know, right? Now you're using a low grade opener to see about what it is that they are interested in as far as their long-term plans. From there, I want to pivot away from selling the home, which is most agents are, we're just so excited. We like CMA them to death. Can I come over and give you a CMA? I'm not saying CMAs aren't valuable, but I'm saying that people trust the Zestimate, and so a lot of them are going to say, I'll have you come over when I'm actually ready. Right now, I'll probably just use my tax records and the Zestimate. So what I want to do is I want to pivot and say, if they say yes, that they'd be open to receiving an offer and the price, if the price is right, I'm going to now move and say something along the lines of, gotcha. Whenever you do decide to move, would you stay local or would you relocate, right? And I like to use a question about where they would move and start to get them to dream with me, because what it helps me to do is it helps me to find and discover what their dreams are, where they're going. And I'm going to go down the whole buyer path. So whatever conversations you normally have with a potential home buyer, I want you to run down that road. I want you to talk about buyer presentations, getting pre-approved, sending listings, all of that stuff. Press into their dream of where they're going to go. Ask them, what do you want to change about where you live right now when you do buy this next home? Get them to complain about their current home, and by complaining, you're giving them clarity. They're actually going to appreciate it on what it is that they want. Once they start to press into the buyer conversation, 5-10 minutes, what you're going to find is selling the home now becomes almost like a necessary evil. It doesn't have the same vibe that you trying to get them to do a CMA right out of the gate, right? And so you say, well, I know you're looking possibly one day to move to the east side of town, and I do specialize in the process of selling the home you're in, helping you find another. It's a complicated process, but don't worry, it's something I'm really good at. And what that does is now you're connecting back the home that they need to sell to the home that they want to buy. And from there, the way that I've been teaching my agents to get in their home is to say, it sounds like you're not ready to sell at all. And I'm so glad that I happen to be talking to you while you're in the position of not being ready. It's actually when I'm most valuable. You probably think you need to fix a lot with regards to the condition of your home. Most people are very aware of the leaky faucet or the squeaky floors or the outlet that doesn't work right, all these little particulars, and so you want to go to work to get it all right. My job, well before you're ready to sell, is to do a walkthrough of the home, review the condition of the home, and make sure that you're not fixing things that won't return an investment when it is time to sell. So if you had 10 things you think you need to fix, my goal would be to shrink that list to maybe 4 things or 5 things, again, so you're not wasting time and money. Now, and then I do an either or close. I like to meet Wednesday afternoons or Saturday mornings, but I can be flexible. What works best for you? This will work surprisingly well to get into top of funnel homeowners' homes, because they see the value in you making sure they're not fixing things that won't return and get a return on investment. And Zillow can't do this, Realtor.com can't do this, Redfin can't do this. They can't go inside of people's homes, not yet anyway, and review the repairs. So this is a unique selling proposition, a USP to you, right? And once you get in their home, I could probably do a whole nother series of videos on this, but I don't want to leave you guys hanging. When you get in the home, make good on the promise. Walk the home. 10 minutes tops. Pick out a couple of things that you think that they need to fix. Let them know that they don't need to fix anything at all. Let them ask, is there something I don't see? Is there a leak somewhere or anything that you're concerned about that you want to talk about? And then after you provide some value there, like if there's no repairs, maybe give staging advice, right? Like there's just little subtle ways of doing that. After you do that, I want you to have a CMA and a listing presentation with you and say, hey, while I'm here, did you want to sit down and go over the CMA? I can probably sharpen my pencil a little bit, give you some figures. Most people are going to say yes, you're already in their home. From there, say, also I could go over some of the listing techniques. Again, I know you're not ready, but I could go over that with you, right? And so now you've casually walked into a listing appointment based off of this workflow that I just gone over in 9 minutes, right? And so you're going to get in these people's homes. And then what I want you to do is I want you to, after you go over all of that, instead of saying, so can we put a sign in the yard, which is what we're all tempted to do, I want you to pivot back to the process of buying. Because again, they're happy normally where they live. Now that you've gone over everything, you need to pivot back to, now let's talk about this home on the east side of town, right? When do you envision wanting to actually buy a home in that area? When would be like the ideal scenario? Then the hope would be that it's like 3 to 6 months, 9 months, something like that. That's when you connect them with your lender, because they should not be guessing on what they can afford. That's when you start sending them listings in those neighborhoods, right? Because that's where you're starting to add value. If it's an out-of-town move, you interview 2 agents, find one that you like, and tell them you found one. Do a group discussion between that other agent in the other state and this potential seller. And now you've become an integral part of the process to help them sell and to help them realize their goal. And what you'll find is they most of the time will not take years. You're going to help make this easy for them. And it all started with some simple seller engagement off of that seller alert. So go make that money. I'm sorry it was 11 minutes, but it is what it is, because this is our playbook and it works really, really well.